Hi, I'm Chef Jean-Paul, and I'm here to share the love of Valentine's Day for Clatterbridge Cancer Charity. Now, Valentine's Day is such a special time and a wonderful time to just show some love to the person that you truly care about. And I'm going to give you a recipe for a cherry chocolate Amaretto cheesecake that is going to blow their minds. Seems a little bit difficult, but it's actually really not. Oh, did I say cherry? I meant to say raspberry. Dark chocolate and raspberry, it's like the most delicious thing. When I was younger, I worked for Godiva Chocolate, and I used to always eat these little dark chocolate and raspberry little bombs, which I absolutely adore. But this recipe it's absolutely gorgeous. I've done all my ingredients that I have out in front of me. I can explain to you now what I have. This is the base of the chocolate cheesecake. We have Oreo cookies, and we have 2 packs, which is 24 cookies themselves. And I have 70 grams of unsalted butter. So what you really need to do, and you can leave the filling of the Oreos in there. I blend this, I have a blender here. Some people, you could actually do it in, like, if you have a bullet at home, you could put it in a plastic bag and beat it with a rolling pin. You could crush it with your hands, but I find this the easiest way. With the butter, I'm just gonna zap that in the microwave. But let me just do this a really quick till we get like a fine crumb. I mean, it's okay if you're doing it with your hands and it's a little bit crunchy, that's fine also. Done. That's simple. I have here a 9-inch pan. If I get that open, have a 9-inch pan that I'm just gonna layer this in. I have a Spring Farm 9-inch cake tin. Now let me just give you a little hint here. With this cake tin, you have a little lip around the edge here. I lay the greaseproof paper on top of that. Then I put this here, clip it in, so you already have this line. You don't have to grease that, and it's easier to get it out of the pan. Then you just run the knife along the edge and it just comes right out. I'm just gonna zap this in the microwave because even if it was soft, you really need to get it in there because that's gonna form the base. Just like a couple seconds in the microwave, like 20 seconds at the most. This is the butter after 20 seconds in the microwave. Dead simple. Just pour it into the chocolate, and then we'll just give that a really good mix to get that just to combine. What I have done is I have turned the oven to preheat to 170. Now that I've got that all through there, I'm just gonna put this in here. There we go. So just all of that into the pan. I use my hands on this, it's just much easier. Just want to press that down into the bottom, and it can go a little bit up the sides, but just give it a good press down. Also, what I want to do is put this in the oven and let that cook for 15 minutes, again at 170. And that will just give you a crispy bottom and have a really nice feel about it. So the base of this Oreo cookie crust is going to be really, really delicious and have a really nice chocolate flavor. If you wanted to, you could use digestive biscuits, which is what you would use on a regular cheesecake. But what you really do need to do is put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 170. Hi, now this is the filling for the cheesecake. Very, very simple, nice ingredients. I have 800 grams of cream cheese. I have used the cheapest one they sell. If you want to use the most expensive one they sell, that's up to you. But you can do this cake for, it was 45p for 200 grams. So, I mean, that's quite good because some of them are like 2 pounds. I have plain white sugar. I have brown sugar, light brown sugar. I have cocoa. I have espresso powder, Just going to give it a nice rich coffee taste. 5 eggs, your raspberries, some double cream. I'm going to put a good goggle and bunch of Amaretto in there because this is for grown-ups. I guess if you were going to make this for your kids and you didn't want them to have the Amaretto, you could just pull that right out. I also have dark chocolate, and this is quite a good dark chocolate because that's actually what really matters. This is going to make this a really decadent, rich cake. Perfect for Valentine's Day, but also perfect for birthdays or anything. This could be your signature cake. What I'm going to do, you could do this in a double boiler on your cooker, just a glass bowl in a pan. I'm just going to melt this in the microwave. That will take about, do it for a minute, test it, look and see how it's done. Do it for another 30 seconds, then do it for another 30 seconds. You don't want to overcook it, but you want to make sure it's melted. Okay, that's melted. So before I put this all together, our base it's going to be crispy now, so it's going to have a nice texture. I'm just going to set that here while I put together everything else. Again, I have the world's greatest mixer behind us, but not everybody has that, so you can use that, or you could use a spoon, either or. So I've got the cream cheese, which is kind of softened. It's a soft cheese anyway. If you leave it out of the oven before you're going to mix it, it makes it much, much, much easier. So I've got that there. Just give this a good mix there now, just to get it going. I'm going to throw in the light brown sugar. Give that a good mix. I'm going to throw in the white sugar. Now this is going to be thick. It's not going to be a thin little cake mix. It's quite a thick one. I'm going to put in my instant coffee and cocoa. Again, give it a good stir. Now I'm going to add 1 egg at a time. So I just make sure I get it really incorporated in that and everything gets really mixed well. Last thing you want is like a little piece of egg in your cake. That's making it a little bit thinner now. Honestly, if you want to use a handheld mixer, go ahead. I mean, this is probably what takes the longest. I really hope that you guys try this, because I promise you, I was going to say it'll give you brownie points. This will give you chocolate raspberry cheesecake points. A little bit, they're like double brownie points. But you will make someone's day if you make them this. And again, it's not crazy expensive. So now I've got all those eggs in there, which was 5 eggs, whole eggs. I'm going to add, I would say 5 tablespoons of Amaretto. This just makes it really luxurious. It's just chocolate Amaretto, and so maybe it was a little bit more. But you know what? We want that flavor. That's going to make it just taste delicious. Do you know what? If you don't want to have chocolate, so say there's someone crazy who doesn't like chocolate, you could leave the cocoa powder and you could leave the espresso out and the chocolate, and you could just make this a vanilla raspberry cheesecake with Amaretto if you want it. If somebody doesn't drink, cut that out. So that's in there now. I'm going to fold in the 250 grams of dark chocolate. I mean, it's not a really, cheesecakes are not like a light cake that needs to be airy. So you can be quite harsh with them, really. So I want you to fold in the melted chocolate. It just reminds me of Schitt's Creek when they hadn't a clue of what to fold in cheese when they were making enchiladas. I mean, that is just hysterical for me, but you know what? A lot of people don't. That's folding something in, lifting it up, turning it over, lifting it up, turning it over. You just want to really incorporate that. There we go. That is just looking amazing. So now that I have that in there and it's all mixed quite well, I'm going to pour half of that into our prepared base. So half of the chocolate goes in. Okay, and this is the good part. This is what makes this the most amazing thing. I have a whole pack of raspberries. I have the exact measurements that are connected to this at the bottom of it. There'll be all the full recipe on it. But these raspberries here now in the middle, if you put them at the bottom, they get a little bit soggy. The only thing I will say is you can't use frozen raspberries because they're a bit too watery for this and it's harder for it to set. Raspberries in there, second half of this chocolate on top. They're just going to be in the middle of all of that is going to be your raspberries. So, I mean, it's a baked cheesecake too. So, you know, New York baked cheesecake. So it's so delicious. I mean, even though it's not even cooking, and I know they say this in like every program on earth, it smells delicious already. So I've got the raspberries covered. The oven is still on 170. This cooks for an hour and 10 minutes. Keep an eye on it when it's in the oven, but that's your cheesecake done there. So now really all you're doing is baking this now for an hour and 10 minutes at 170. Here we go. This is my happy time. I've just taken this out of the oven. Look at that, it looks gorgeous. It's gonna have a ganache on the top of it, but look, see, it's not a firm set. You can see it's kind of moving around there. That's perfect. This has been in the oven for an hour. So I put down an hour and 10 minutes, but my oven is like the sun, the surface of the sun. It's just brilliant, but you have to keep an eye on it. So see, we've got that little wobble in the texture there. Perfect. I'm gonna leave this out, let this sit for about an hour and cool down till it gets, you know, room temperature. Then I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and it needs to stay in the fridge overnight or at least 6 hours. But look at that, I'm so happy. So you can imagine what this is gonna taste like and how creamy it's gonna be. Hiya. We've rested overnight, we've had our beauty sleep. This has been in the fridge overnight. So I let it cool, put it in the fridge for overnight, but at least 6 hours. We're gonna cover this with the chocolate ganache, which is the best, most delicious thing in the world, but quite simple to do. I'm gonna use 4 tablespoons of double cream. I'm gonna use 50 grams of butter, unsalted butter. I've got 100 grams of rich dark chocolate, and I have 2 cups of icing sugar, which is about 100 grams. This will be on the recipe at the end also. So you just get that all in there and you slowly let that incorporate to where it thickens. Because when you cover that on top of that, we're gonna chill it again for 30 minutes, and then we'll have a nice frosting on top of it, which really makes the cake. I'm so excited about this. I'm happy that you're gonna get to try this and have this at home, because you're gonna be the most loved person in your house on Valentine's Day. So you cook this chocolate and icing sugar and butter until you get rid of all the lumps. Now, I just pour this on top of the cake, and we're gonna leave this to sit for about 20 minutes in the fridge. And then that's gonna give it a nice chocolate frosting. Look at because of the butter, that's what's giving it that shiny appearance. But look at that. That's what we want. So this is the best part of the whole thing, is decorating the cake. The fudge frosting has set. We have raspberries. I have some dried strawberries. I have cocoa powder, and I have some dark chocolate I'm just gonna grate on top. Let me show you how to take this out of this pan. I have a sharp knife, which I'm just gonna run along the edge of this pan like this. Remember, we set the grease-proof paper at the bottom. Ideally, I might leave this in the fridge a little bit longer with that fudge topping, with the frosting on it, but just so we could get it going, I've done it like that now. That just slides out like that now. Just set this here. So, dead simple again. I've got a cake stand. Look at the fudge cake. I've got a knife here to help me with this. Now, you could, because the bottom's quite crunchy, because we cooked that, I can actually get my hand underneath it, hopefully not break it. Just slide that onto there. It feels amazing. Now, just for the decorating, I've got a good sharp knife. Now, if you wanted to, you could just pour those strawberries on the top of there. Put the others, little dried strawberries. I got them at the supermarket. You can get them anywhere. They were at Sainsbury's. You could grate the chocolate and put cocoa powder on it. But I'm gonna plate up one slice so you can see what it looks like on the inside. That bottom is crunchy. When it went through, it just went. I got a nice good slice there. The thing with this cake is, it's rich. It's really, really rich. Now you can see, look, you've got the strawberries there, raspberries there in the middle. I don't know why I keep calling them strawberries. So I'm gonna put, you have to do things in threes. So I have 3 raspberries to stick there. I have a little bit of these freeze-dried raspberries, which you can just sprinkle around. I might put a bit more on there after I put the cocoa. Then I'm going to put just a little bit of the cocoa powder, just for a little bit of look. I'm gonna just drizzle a little bit on there, just tap a little bit across it, just to give it a nice bit of color. Dead simple, dead simple. You could use icing sugar. Then just because I want, and because we want more chocolate, I have a little bit of grated dark chocolate. And, like I said, maybe a little bit more strawberries. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you do make this cake for Valentine's Day. You put a lot of love in this cake, and they will taste this cake, and I promise you, they will love you for making this cake. Please have a brilliant and wonderful Valentine's Day.